Have you ever found yourself surrounded by chaos, feeling like the noise and turmoil around you are slowly eating away at your peace? Picture this. You're on a crowded bus during rush hour, tightly packed with strangers, the air thick with tension and discomfort. Suddenly, someone's loud conversation pierces through your thoughts, disrupting the fragile balance you were trying to maintain. As you clench your fists and feel the frustration rise, you might wonder, is there a better way to handle this? Can I find calm amidst this chaos? This is where Stoicism comes in, a philosophy that has guided people for centuries through the most difficult of situations. It teaches us how to remain calm, rational, and in control, even when everything around us seems chaotic. Today, we'll delve deep into the Stoic way of dealing with those difficult people, be it the loud, the obnoxious, the narcissistic, or simply those who get under our skin. And we won't just scratch the surface. We'll explore 6 powerful Stoic strategies in detail, each one a tool you can use in everyday life to maintain your inner peace. But how does Stoicism help us transform frustration into tranquility? And why should ancient wisdom still matter in our modern world? Keep watching, because by the end of this video, you'll find yourself armed with timeless Stoic insights that could change the way you handle difficult people and maybe even change your life. 1. Acceptance and Amor Fati, embracing what happens. Stoicism teaches us to embrace the concept of Amor Fati, which means love of fate. This isn't about simply resigning ourselves to unpleasant situations, but rather learning to accept them as a natural part of life. Imagine again that bus ride, where the person next to you is shouting into their phone. You might ask yourself, why do I have to endure this? But a Stoic would pose a different question. How can I use this moment to strengthen my mind? The Stoics believed that every event in life, no matter how challenging or inconvenient, is an opportunity for growth. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Roman emperors and a profound Stoic thinker, wrote that the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. When we face annoying or difficult people, it's not just a test of our patience, it's a chance to develop resilience. Think of your daily life. How often do you find yourself resisting reality, wishing that others were more considerate or less bothersome? This resistance is a source of suffering. Epictetus, another great Stoic philosopher, advised his students to focus not on changing external circumstances, but on adjusting their own reactions. There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. But how can we truly practice Amor Fati in the heat of the moment? Start by reframing the situation. Instead of thinking, this person is making my life miserable, try to see it as, this is a perfect opportunity to practice patience and self-control. By embracing each challenge as a part of life's design, you shift your focus from frustration to growth. It's not about pretending to enjoy discomfort. It's about accepting that it is a part of the human experience. For example, when you encounter someone who is rude or inconsiderate, consider what Stoicism teaches about empathy. Ask yourself, what might this person be struggling with that makes them act this way? This shift in perspective doesn't mean you approve of their behavior, but it helps you to detach your peace from their actions. By doing so, you preserve your own calm and avoid being dragged into their negativity. Does this mean we become passive, accepting every difficulty without question? Not at all. Stoicism is not about inaction. It's about choosing our actions wisely. When faced with adversity, a Stoic responds thoughtfully, not reactively. This approach enables us to act from a place of strength, not desperation. It's about mastering the art of inner freedom, even when outer circumstances seem beyond our control. The beauty of Amor Fati is that it transforms every moment, even the unpleasant ones, into opportunities for growth. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. So, next time you find yourself confronted by a difficult person, remember that the annoyance you feel is not imposed by them. It is your choice. And with this understanding, you hold the key to true freedom. What if, instead of feeling resentment, you could feel empowered? What if every encounter with a difficult person became a chance to deepen your practice of Stoic philosophy? This acceptance is not weakness. It is a profound strength that allows you to face life's challenges with a calm heart and a clear mind. And now that we've explored the power of Amor Fati, let's move on to another vital Stoic practice: understanding the true nature of situations. 2. Understanding the nature of situations. See things as they are. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is the importance of seeing situations clearly for what they are, without adding unnecessary emotional weight. Epictetus taught that when we encounter challenging circumstances, our first task is to understand their true nature. Before stepping into a potentially stressful environment, a Stoic prepares themselves mentally by recognizing what might occur. Imagine boarding that crowded bus or entering a noisy office space. A Stoic would ask themselves, what is the true nature of this situation? Consider this. When you take public transportation during rush hour, do you expect perfect peace and quiet? Or do you acknowledge the reality that crowded spaces come with noise, delays, and perhaps some rude behavior? It's not about being pessimistic, it's about being realistic. As Epictetus said, when you are about to put your hand into a pot, remind yourself of what kind of thing it is that you are about to touch. If you do this, you will not be disconcerted if it smokes. By anticipating what might happen, you prepare your mind to stay steady. This is not a pessimistic outlook, but a practical one. It allows you to maintain your calm even when others around you are losing theirs. Ask yourself, how often do you feel frustrated simply because reality does not meet your expectations? How many of those frustrations could be avoided if you adjusted your expectations to align more closely with the nature of reality? Take the example of dealing with a loud co-worker. If you expect them to be quiet and considerate, you might find yourself continually annoyed. But if you acknowledge that their personality is different, that their talkativeness is simply part of the office environment, you free yourself from the grip of irritation. This doesn't mean you have to accept everything without question, but it does mean choosing not to let the behavior of others dictate your emotional state. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, advised himself to remember that the world is full of people of all kinds, and that he should not expect everyone to conform to his desires or values. He wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they cannot tell good from evil." This may seem like a bleak way to start the day, but the purpose is to prepare oneself mentally. It's a way of acknowledging that life, with all its imperfections, is still life. By doing this, a Stoic does not become bitter or cynical. Instead, they become more resilient and less likely to be caught off guard by the imperfections of others. How would your life change if you approached each day with this kind of mental readiness? When you prepare yourself for the challenges of each environment, you are better able to maintain your focus on what truly matters, your own actions and responses. This is where the power of Stoicism shines. It gives you the tools to manage your expectations so that you are no longer at the mercy of external circumstances. Instead, you maintain your equilibrium regardless of the behavior of others. But this approach also requires practice. It's not enough to recognize the nature of a situation. You must remind yourself of it often. Before stepping onto that crowded bus or joining that difficult meeting, take a moment to remind yourself, this is what I am stepping into. My goal is not to change it, but to remain steady through it. This simple practice can make a world of difference in how you experience the challenges of daily life. Have you ever found yourself wishing others would act differently, only to realize that it was your expectations, not their behavior, that caused your frustration? By shifting your perspective, you shift your experience. And when we see things as they are, we can accept them with greater ease, leaving behind the struggle that comes from wishing the world were different. As we move forward, let's explore how Stoicism teaches us to set boundaries with wisdom, ensuring that while we remain patient, we also protect our own well-being. 3. Setting boundaries with wisdom, protecting your peace. In Stoicism, patience and tolerance are highly valued, but they do not mean becoming a doormat for others' bad behavior. Stoic philosophers understood that while it is virtuous to endure hardship, there are times when the wisest course of action is to distance oneself from negative influences. This is where the art of setting boundaries comes in. Imagine a relationship where you feel constantly drained, perhaps a friend or family member who repeatedly brings negativity into your life. You might ask yourself, what is the Stoic response here? Should I endure this endlessly, or is it time to draw a line? Epictetus offered a simple but powerful reminder. We should not try to get rid of our circumstances, but of ourselves, our attachment to them. This means recognizing that you have the power to choose how much of yourself you give to certain relationships. Stoicism teaches us that setting boundaries is not about rejecting others, but about protecting our inner peace. It's about deciding how much energy you are willing to invest in situations that do not serve your well-being. Ask yourself, are you staying in a toxic relationship because you feel you should, or because you believe it is truly beneficial for your growth? The act of setting boundaries does not mean shutting people out without compassion. It means understanding that you must prioritize your own mental and emotional health. It's about recognizing when a relationship has crossed from being a challenge you can grow from into a burden that pulls you down. This decision requires careful reflection, not emotional reactivity. A Stoic would ask, is this situation within my control, or is it time to step back? Marcus Aurelius faced countless challenges during his reign as emperor, including dealing with corrupt advisors, envious senators, and a court full of intrigue. He learned to navigate these relationships by maintaining his principles without allowing himself to be swayed by those with ill intentions. He understood that sometimes walking away is an act of wisdom, not weakness. And when we do choose to distance ourselves, Stoicism encourages us to do so without anger. Anger, after all, only harms the one who carries it. Instead, a Stoic departs with a sense of peace, knowing that they have acted in accordance with their values. It's about choosing the company you keep and the influences you allow into your life. If you are finding these insights valuable, make sure to keep watching. The next principles we explore will deepen your understanding of how to maintain calm in any situation and transform your interactions with challenging individuals. Stay with us, and let's continue this journey into the heart of Stoic wisdom. 4. The power of choice. Taking control of your reactions. A core teaching of Stoicism is that while we cannot control what happens to us, we have complete control over how we react. This concept is empowering because it places the responsibility for our emotional state directly in our own hands. When faced with a difficult person or a frustrating situation, we always have a choice in how we respond. But how often do we forget this power and allow ourselves to be swept up in frustration or anger? Imagine a situation where a colleague is constantly undermining you at work, or a stranger is being rude in public. It's easy to feel that their behavior dictates our response, but Stoicism teaches that this is an illusion. Epictetus put it succinctly, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The external event, someone's harsh words, their disrespectful tone, these are beyond your control. But your response, that is entirely up to you. So, how do you take control of your reactions when it feels like your emotions are pulling you in the opposite direction? Start by recognizing that your initial emotional response is a natural reflex, but it doesn't have to dictate your next move. Ask yourself, what would a Stoic do in this situation? A Stoic would pause, consider the bigger picture, and choose a response that aligns with their values rather than reacting impulsively. This practice is not easy. It requires discipline and self-awareness, but the rewards are profound. Each time you resist the impulse to snap back at someone who has wronged you, you strengthen your ability to act from a place of reason rather than emotion. This is what the Stoics called prohairesis, the ability to choose one's actions consciously, regardless of external circumstances. Consider this. How many times have you looked back on a situation and wished you had reacted differently? What if you could take a moment before reacting, allowing yourself the space to decide the most constructive course of action? This is the power that Stoicism offers, the ability to step back, to see your choices clearly, and to act in a way that aligns with your principles. Marcus Aurelius, who faced immense pressures as a ruler, often reminded himself that he could choose how he met each challenge. "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts," he wrote. This is a reminder that our mindset shapes our experience far more than the actions of others. By focusing on our reactions rather than the actions of those around us, we reclaim control over our own peace of mind. In practical terms, the next time you feel anger or frustration bubbling up because of someone's behavior, try pausing for just a moment. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, "Is this worth my peace? How would I like to remember my response to this?" This small act of reflection can completely change the way you navigate challenging situations, making you a master of your own reactions. What if you could turn every difficult interaction into an opportunity to practice patience and composure? How might that change the way you experience your daily life? As you reflect on these questions, keep in mind that mastering your reactions is a process. It requires time and practice, but with each deliberate choice, you become stronger, more resilient, and more in tune with your true self. And now that we've explored the power of choice, let's move on to another key aspect of Stoicism, focusing on internal composure. 5. Focusing on internal composure, the calm within the storm. Stoicism places great emphasis on maintaining inner calm, even when surrounded by external turmoil. This idea might seem simple in theory, but in practice, it can be incredibly challenging. Think back to that crowded bus or noisy workplace. How do you keep your peace when everything around you seems designed to disrupt it? Stoicism teaches that true calm comes not from changing our environment, but from mastering our own minds. When Epictetus spoke of maintaining composure, he was pointing to a profound truth. The world is full of noise, distractions, and disturbances, but we have the power to create a space of stillness within ourselves. He often reminded his students that life's disturbances only reach us if we let them. If someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation, he said. This means that when we become upset, it's because we've allowed ourselves to be pulled into the chaos. Think about your own life. How many times have you let a small annoyance, like someone cutting you off in traffic, ruin your entire day? Stoicism challenges us to take a step back and ask, is this worth disturbing my peace? By focusing on keeping our minds steady, we can navigate through the turbulence of life without losing our equilibrium. One way to cultivate this inner composure is through daily reflection. Marcus Aurelius, despite his role as emperor, made time each day to write in his journal, reminding himself of his priorities and his desire to stay centered. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This practice allowed him to maintain his sense of purpose and calm, even in the face of immense pressure. How often do you take time to reflect on your thoughts and actions? What might change if you made a habit of checking in with yourself each day? By making space for reflection, you give yourself the opportunity to assess whether your reactions align with your deeper values. It allows you to reset your focus, to remind yourself that no matter what happens around you, your peace is your responsibility. If you've found value in these Stoic principles so far, keep watching. The insights that lie ahead will further deepen your understanding of how to maintain your calm, even when surrounded by difficult people. Make sure you don't miss the next part, as it's designed to help you truly transform the way you experience the challenges of life. 6. Empathy and understanding. See through the lens of compassion. One of the most profound aspects of Stoicism is its emphasis on empathy and understanding. While Stoicism often focuses on maintaining our own peace, it also encourages us to see others with compassion. Marcus Aurelius frequently reminded himself that most people act out of ignorance, not malice. He wrote, "Whenever you are offended at someone's lack of decency, immediately ask yourself, what mistake of mine made me think this could be any different?" When we encounter difficult individuals, it's easy to judge them harshly. But what if, instead, we asked ourselves, what pain or difficulty might they be facing that I don't see? This shift in perspective doesn't mean we have to accept harmful behavior, but it allows us to respond with a sense of understanding rather than anger. It's a way of maintaining our humanity even in the face of rudeness. Imagine how different your interactions might be if you looked for the reasons behind others' actions instead of reacting to them. Epictetus taught that every person has their own struggles, and often their behavior is a reflection of those inner battles. By remembering this, we free ourselves from taking things personally and can approach others with greater kindness. How might your perspective change if you saw every difficult person as a fellow human, struggling in their own way? What would it look like to approach them with empathy, even when it feels undeserved? Empathy in Stoicism is not about being a martyr or tolerating abuse. It's about choosing to rise above the pettiness of anger. It's about recognizing that another's actions do not have to define our own. When we choose empathy, we choose to maintain our integrity, even when others do not. This practice might be challenging, but it is incredibly liberating. It allows us to protect our peace without hardening our hearts, and in doing so, we transform difficult interactions into opportunities to live out our deepest values. If you've resonated with these ideas, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. What experiences have you had with difficult people, and how have you managed to maintain your calm? Let's build a community of shared insights and support as we explore Stoic wisdom together. 7. Living with Purpose, a Stoic's Guide to Intentional Action. In Stoicism, every action is an opportunity to live according to our highest values. It's not enough to simply endure challenges or practice patience. We must also act with purpose, ensuring that our decisions align with our core principles. But what does this mean in practical terms when dealing with difficult people? Marcus Aurelius often asked himself whether his actions were true to his nature. As he wrote in his meditations, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." This advice extends to how we interact with others. When someone behaves poorly, we might be tempted to respond in kind, but a Stoic remembers that their actions do not have to determine our own. We must decide, What kind of person do I want to be in this moment? Living with purpose means that even when faced with rudeness or disrespect, we choose actions that reflect our integrity. If someone insults us, we can choose to respond with calm or to walk away entirely. Our reaction isn't about them. It's about maintaining our commitment to being the best version of ourselves. This is the Stoic approach to intentional living. Ask yourself, how often do you find yourself reacting to others without considering whether your response aligns with your values? How would your interactions change if you treated every encounter as an opportunity to live with intention? This practice requires constant mindfulness. It means asking before you act. Does this response serve my values? Does it bring me closer to the person I want to be? Through this, we cultivate a sense of purpose that grounds us, even in the most challenging interactions. And as you continue to explore these Stoic principles, remember that intentional living is a journey, not a destination. It is through each mindful choice that we build a life that reflects our deepest values. So, now that we have journeyed through the wisdom of Stoicism together, let's bring everything together and understand how we can apply these teachings daily. Throughout this video, we've explored the timeless wisdom of Stoicism and how it can help us deal with difficult people. From Amor Fati and accepting life as it comes, to the importance of setting boundaries and choosing our reactions, these teachings offer a pathway to inner calm and resilience. As we navigate the complexities of our daily lives, Stoicism reminds us that we are never powerless. We have the ability to shape our responses, to focus on what truly matters, and to live with integrity no matter what others do. If you've made it this far, it means you're committed to transforming your life through Stoic wisdom. Remember, mastering these principles takes time and practice, but each small step you take brings you closer to the strength and serenity that the Stoics envisioned. Keep reflecting on what you've learned and apply it in your daily interactions. Whether you're dealing with a difficult co-worker, a challenging family member, or just the stresses of modern life, these principles will guide you towards a more peaceful mind. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What challenges have you faced when dealing with difficult people? Which Stoic strategy do you think will help you the most in your own life? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's continue this conversation. Your insights might just be what someone else needs to hear today. And if you found value in this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others who are ready for their own Stoic transformation. By spreading these teachings, we can help more people find the strength to live with purpose, resilience, and peace. Thank you for being here, for dedicating yourself to personal growth, and for joining this incredible journey into Stoic wisdom. May you find the inner peace and clarity that Stoicism promises, no matter what challenges come your way.